Artillery Center for Movement Arts is happy to present yet another exciting evening of Spaarkk 2020, curated arts events in partnership with Helvetia, the Swiss Arts Council, New Delhi. Special thanks to Akshay Pathak, Aman Kaur, Sadaf Rasa, Chitra Kalyani, and Gaurav Shekhawat, and Team Helvetia. I am Jayachandran Palaji, Artistic Director of Artillery. After presenting interactive live performances of contemporary dance, classical dance, music by acclaimed musicians, conversation with theatre artists, masters of classical dance theatre traditions, a contemporary music series, forays into dance and technology, as well as dance films, today we are happy to present Map of Shadows, a series linked to video performance and poetic fragments with theme dances of sickness and health, placed within the context of COVID-19 pandemic. These 9 videos span questions of invisible spectatorship, absent markets, distant families, and historical plagues, to virtually sharing dance, food, silence, and the passage of time. Map of Shadows was created as an international collaboration by Tableau stations, comprising of Isak from San Francisco, USA, Surjit Nongmeikapom Bon from Manipur in India, and Marina Fukushima from Tokyo, Japan. Isak is an interdisciplinary artist and choreographer who founded Tableau stations as a platform to engage with the social and global questions of place. Numerous collaborative works such as Wind Stations, a curation of missing people, an iconic and landscape career have been presented in San Francisco and internationally, including the Soul Dance Center, Artillery India Biennial, Fabris Europa Italy, Doc 11 Berlin, and Akiyoshidai International Art Village, to name a few. His collaborator Surjit is the co-founder and artistic director of Nachom Arts Foundation based in Manipur. He seeks to engage with the contemporary dance forms to seek and promote its development beyond the traditional Manipuri culture. His work has received several awards, including PECTA, Prakriti Excellence in Contemporary Dance Awards in 2014 and 2016. His solo piece, One Voice, was also nominated at the Theatre Spectacle Festival in Zurich in 2013. Marina Fukushima, born in Tokyo, Japan, and currently based in San Francisco, USA, brings her cross-cultural perspective to her creative focus and themes of silence, family, and intergenerational relationships, I should say. Amongst her projects, she created Family Seasons in 2016 in collaboration with her parents, both visual artists, and was resident artist at Aggregate Space Gallery at Oakland in 2017 and at Theatre Hill Artist Village in 2017. Additionally, she has performed with numerous dance companies including Kunststoff, Epiphany Productions, Mark Feuchringer Dance Project, ODC, Project Agora, and Tableau stations, and toured her work across the US and in Germany, Greece, Peru, Taiwan, Korea, and Japan. I would recommend that you watch the films on full screen mode, as that would give a better viewing experience. Spaarkk is supported by Helvetia, the Swiss Arts Council, New Delhi, and enabled by Artillery Culture Port, which is supported by Goethe Institute Max Muller Bhavan, Bangalore, and technically managed by Transmedia Technologies. For this event, coming to you from Artillery Culture Port, the live streaming and lights are by Niranjan Gokhale of Transmedia Technologies. The overall digital media coordination is by Madhu. Public and social media is by Alisha Ajit, and overall technical coordination is by Wilson KJ, Head of Transmedia Technologies. Technicians for this evening are Veer Bahadur and Janak. After the screening of the video vignettes, I will be talking with the choreographers. If you have any questions for the artists, please put them on the live stream links and we shall put them across to the artists. They will be happy to respond. Now let us go over to the video vignettes of Isak Immanuel, Surjit Nongmeikapom Bon and Marina, Fukushima. Over to you.
リンゴを一つここに置くと、リンゴのこの大きさは、このリンゴだけでいっぱいだ。リンゴが一つここにある。他には何にもない。ここであることとないことが眩しいようにぴったりだ。
们呢？金为公亏哟，来临头，起码来了吧？哎嘿哎呀哎呀嘿嘿，哎嘿哎呀哎呀嘿。
なんという諦めたような悲痛な笑いようをしながら、また私のどんな小さな表情も決して見逃さないようにしながら、お前はけなげに母に聞くのだ。うんにゃ、ずいぶん立派だじゃい。今日は本当に立派だじゃい。本当にそうだ。髪だって一層黒いし、まるで子供のリンゴの方だ。どうかきれいな方をして、新しく天に生まれてくれ。
Thank you, Isak Immanuel, Surjit Nongmeikapom Bon, and Marina Fukushima, who are the choreographers of these wonderful, contemplative, thoughtful video works rendered with equally evocative fragments of poem, embodying and suggesting human experiences, landscapes and architecture, and above all, the places and their character in a unique way. The works had such a painterly quality, employing astute composition, light and shade, color and texture, along with the human movement and dynamic changes, albeit slow, in rhythm to convey the feeling. Now I will have a conversation with the artists, and if you have any questions for them, please feel free to post them on the live stream links, and we shall put them across to the artists. They are happy to respond to them. Welcome, Isak, Marina, and Surjit. What a wonderful work. Thank you for that. Really appreciate the meditative quality of these works. So maybe one of the interesting point to look at, for example, Isak and Marina, it's early morning for you, whereas for Surjit and myself, it is in the evening. And how did you collaborate across these timelines and geographies, and what inspired you to go on this creating this work? Maybe one of you could start. Maybe I will point to Isak. Start. So to make it easy.
Well, we had first worked together in 2014 for the project Anaconic. That first is me and Surjit had began in India for the Facets program, and it had developed, and we were able to work in Yokohama, Japan, and then also in San Francisco, and Marina taking part and developing multiple sections of that work. So I think from that time there has been the cultivated connection, and I think I was just curious to see other possibilities to work together, particularly in the three of us. And amidst this time of the pandemic, there is a great deal of distance, but then also another kind of possibility for connecting and creating work and reimagining what it means to collaborate. So at the very beginning of the outset of the pandemic, there was one news story that really struck my attention, that it was from a man from Bangalore who is living in London as an Uber driver, and he had been displaced and became homeless after he had got COVID. And his case was quite tragic as it really developed, and it was something that affected me in a strong way, thinking about the relationships to Bangalore and then connecting globally, and also within San Francisco Bay Area. The tech industry is such a huge impact for many artists, and the sense of displacement. And of course, Bangalore is often seen as a kind of Silicon Valley of India. So there's this strong connection across borders already happening with many multinational companies. And so this theme of precarious workers, and also looking at artists as precarious workers and precarious workers as artists, really has resonated strongly for many of the works that I've been developing. But now within the pandemic, it takes on a whole new dimension. And so finding ways to collaborate and connect with people, and look at how the impact is to others is very necessary and valuable thing. So with India, and the first time when I was working there with Surjit, it was quite curious in Bangalore. Even when we went to the museum, people didn't think Surjit was from India, and he is expected to pay the price for the foreigner, and he had to convince him, no, he's from Manipur. So I think this kind of ambiguity of belonging and of borderline is something quite strong for me, and also with Marina living for such an extended time in the U.S. and growing up in Japan, also she's very much kind of in between places. So this sense of between space is very strong for each of these artists, Marina and Surjit, that I really resonates with myself. And the dynamic, I was just curious, how can we explore, how can we connect somewhere or another through various times of connecting by Zoom and talking about the nature of poetry also. One inspiration was the Sense of Oreshius, a Japanese linked poem. And though the project deviated from this initial trajectory somewhat of how the renshi is formally done, but that was also a basis and some of our process of sharing poems, and particularly as a fragment that one is linked to the other, and it starts to question the nature of authorship and how people are linked through a poetics of space as well as geography and the theme of dances of sickness and health.
Great. Thank you so much, Isaac. So if I come to you, Surjit, I remember the time when Isaac and you were both at the Facets Choreography Residency organized by Art Gallery. And I think it was at Allianz, no? You were both creating that work. So of course
Yes.
you had a very different approach, and if I remember correctly, Isaac, you were very much you come from a visual art background. You have also a philosophy background. You were very much interested in Gilles Deleuze and the ideas of materiality and the material presence of objects and the environment. Surjit, on the other hand, was very much about the emotions and the kind of things that does to the human body. How do you think this kind of some kind of equivalence or some kind of connection that developed between you two, and how in this process, Surjit, working from Manipur, how was it for you? And particularly the images you kind of brought, the market and the old time in the paintings and everything, you know. So could you elaborate on that a little bit?
Sure. Uh, I mean, the time zone is totally different. So I will say thanks to Isaac and Marina because they woke up at the midnight, and because at noon, at 1 p.m., and for them it's midnight, so they have to wake up. And we had a Zoom talk for quite 3 times, or I don't know how much time, but we had a conversation about from starting from the very basic thing, like what is going on in Manipur and all, and also when Isaac approached me again, it's quite nice because we met in 2000, actually in 13, actually 2013. Then we also worked with some other project in USA with Isaac, and this is like a third project with him, I must say. So it's also nice that how he connected, within this COVID-19, with it's kind of you don't know what is going on around even the artists, but we are trying to come together again. And this project is what this and yeah, and then yeah, we start talking very basic thing, and then he approached like, okay, let's make a short video about the shadow, including, and I was also like not sure what to do because is yeah, I was not sure. Then slowly with Isaac we start conversation and all. Then I got some idea about our history and our landscape. Like Ima market is the biggest market in Asia. It's only for the women market, and now because of the COVID-19, is a block, so nobody can go and do marketing there. And also, seeing this, and the theme is also about about the COVID-19, how it affected to the people. And so I try to also uh, reflect myself what is going on in Manipur. So, and also that is why everything is open somehow until from morning to 6 p.m. in Manipur, but sadly Imar market, that space is not yet open right now, so that is the sad part. And then about the painting, RKCS, the full name is Rajkumar Chandrajit Sana Singh, who is a very well painter, artist in Manipur. And then, so that painting actually did in 1988, and why I did that is because, my parents and I was talking together when we was having a dinner. So they told me that COVID-19 is little better than compared to cholera. So we had a three phase of cholera in Manipur, and people at that time there was no good infrastructure and a hospital, so many people died. And I saw that painting in this RKCS in this museum. So I was, and I tried to connect it, what is going on now in the COVID-19, and then the past history of Manipur, which is affected by the cholera. And then the third part is about the daily life, like the farming, like so people now very like appreciating the this farmer life. And the most important nowadays is people start to realize is to have their own farm, because at one point you don't have a you need to buy a vegetable, and in the COVID-19, when there is whole blockade, there was very difficult. There was there was a time to get a food is very difficult. So people kind of realize about this thing about farming is very important, and that is why also I choose that farming place is one of my friend's space. So it's a fish farm. So I just took my camera, my phone, just capture what is going on, the daily life process to survive their own life. So yeah, this is what how I created. And also about the poem, I actually this is my first time I explored to write poem. And thank you to Isaac and Marina again for increasing me, and because, and also I feel it is more nice to write myself because it's kind of the when I visit that space, what I felt or what I heard, I try to reflect it with my poem, with my visual. So that is why I wrote it. And yeah, so, and thanks to all my friends in Manipur who really helped me to to make it happen.
Marina, so over to you now. See, in this kind of work, there is an element of haiku poetry in a way. And your work, particularly the way you use shadows and the kind of pensive way you use the sculptural quality of the shadows and of you making along with the tree and all that. So, how sitting in US, how is it to transpose to Japan or the Japanese sensibility and aesthetics, or you carry it within yourself, or how does that relationship of in terms of creative process, your immediate surroundings or your inner landscapes? What is the kind of motivation for you to create the work?
I I feel right now my sense of identity, nationalism is a really peculiar. I came to US as a teen, and I live in US much longer than when I was in Japan. But for me, sense of family is very strong. So I think family connection is a strong key to connecting to my Japanese culture. And actually, about 7 years or 8 years ago now, my parents, they both immigrated to US at the age of 75, around there. And so for them to be here in this American culture, and seeing them, I see also their Japanese nationality, where my culture connecting to Japan has changed because they are changing. Their food, what they cook now is becoming a little bit fusion. Their Japanese is becoming a little bit more broken. Sometimes they forget, it's like, oh, what is a word? But they do have that feeling, sensitivity that they carry, and I feel like that's a sensitivity that I do carry as well. And also that exists within US culture as well too. So it is interesting to notice that kind of different nationality exists in this place. And to I believe to reflect that into the work, I think it naturally transcend both. I think my work has many mix of US influence, Japanese influence, maybe some from India. Working with Surjit, I was thinking about his works influenced me from watching his videos. And also when I was talking with Surjit, it resonate in the back, and that kind of somehow is affecting my work, I believe.
Okay, great. So now, because each one of you come from different background, maybe the audience are curious to know how your artistic process has evolved over the years. What's your inspiration to come into the performing arts field, and how this making this work, how did you arrive at it, and how making this work is different than what you normally do? Over to you, Isaac first, and then I'll come back to Surjit.
Well, my work first did begin more as a visual artist, and I had studied within the fine arts of painting and photography, mixed media installation, and little by little went more into performance art. And what brought me to dance was actually through studying Japanese Buto dance, but what brought me to that also was a lot of personal experiences during the young time of really a kind of loss of the body, and especially within the visual arts, there is a strong sense of you are creating something outside of yourself, and often there is the disconnection to listening, even to physical health and basic stability. So this kind of loss of the body made me to question more, and it was through Butto dance and through Hijikata's ideas of the body in crisis that then was my first entry point, moving from influences of, say, Chris Burden and Bastian Otter, other performance artists who came out of the visual arts, came out of sculpture in this sort of sense, into looking more at what is dance methodology. And then as my work developed through Butto and Noguchi Taiso practice, I also connect with the American dance artist Anna Halpern, who just recently turned 100 years old this past July. And she is also a very strong impact for me, and looking at the necessities of making a work, and not always thinking you always have to make a work and do quote unquote home season or something like that. And so she is always very encouraging to myself to find another way to look at what is dance. And so within that line, nature of home, nature of the body, nature of stability has been a strong theme for many years. And with this work, similar to as I was saying before, it's finding within the contemporary moment, within this condition of the pandemic, how does this ongoing theme, ongoing question of stability, absence, how to stage absence, these are shaped in another way. So looking at the nature of shadows is a way to look at absence, look at how to perform absence, and also how to share absence or disappearance. A sense of disappearance is a strong thing. So how to disappear again and again and again, and that is a sense of dance. So within that, I think also what I get a lot from working with Anna Halpern is nature of collaboration. Each person can find their own entry point, and so I'm very curious and quite open to see, okay, what does Marina and what does Surjit do? What is valuable to them? Listening to Marina's sense of her relationship to her parents and to a sense of family, and how these resonate within poems like Miyazawa Kenji and Maru Michio and with Surjit and his selections. So it's really ultimately open-ended process relative to circumstance.
Okay, great. Thank you, Isak. So Surjit, could you just tell us a little bit about your journey in dance and creative processes? And because each of your work are quite different from each other, and this one particularly so, and how do you characterize your journey in dance? What are the inspirations? What are the milestones? How do you say?
I did my BA choreography in National Institute of Katha and Choreography. So I started from the classical background. And after that, I also did my Manipuri martial art and Manipuri dance. After I finished my graduation, I found this contemporary dance, and I was trying to explore it. Then after some time, in 2011, and I got selected for a residency for first time in my life for Gati and Gati residency. And after that, I met a lot of professional contemporary artists. So yes, So I was very scared at that time because all of them was like studying abroad and they already like did their own professional contemporary dance, and I was like, okay. So yeah, after meeting them, and I keep exploring, and I met many people, and I try to explore as much I can, especially for the movement art, and then I also I also found about the Bhutto because when I did in 2011 and in Kati residency, one of my mentors said, "Are you inspired by Bhutto?" And I heard that for the first time in my life about Bhutto. And I said, "What is Bhutto?" And he explained it about this. And then he also told me about this sub Bhutto in Himalaya in Dharamsala. Then after exploring that, I started looking more deeper into this also. And at the same time, our spirituality, our own traditional culture and ritual art form from Manipur. After that, also I also collaborate with many people in Manipur, local friends, like mostly film, then filmmaker, and I try to explore with them, and then yeah, slowly I keep practicing whatever I can do, you know, including my body. I think I like to do experimental things if my body is present. So whether it could be you know, just installation work or whatever. So I should be present my body. So if there is my body, then I love to do anything. Uh, so I will say I have many inspire people. I must say from everyone because to me, you know, I was just a beginner, so I inspire everyone because each person have their own journey and their story, their identity and their methodology. So what I do is like I capture it whatever I can, and I try to reflect it or refine myself. And what I do now is I base in Manipur, and I try to do is I try to find a own resource from my own culture. It may be not from the traditional background, not just let's say Manipuri Thangta or Manipuri dance, but I try to minimalize that. But I try to kind of explore something for my own vocabulary, because I will not consider as a classical dancer, because to be a classical dancer is a lot of time, and I'm not that. So that's why I started to explore more into experimental work, maybe with film and with installation work. And I also like visual art, visually art form, and then installation work. And yeah, so yes, that's what I do now is more like I try to capture something traditional art form and try to transform it from to contemporary art practice. So it's more about I respect my ritual and tradition, but I don't particularly use it. I use the philosophy and I try to transform to my own vocabulary. So that's what I'm doing.
Oh, thank you. So you meet with your friends, the friends who came with us to Spain and all that, the filmmakers, Tombe and others.
Mm-hmm.
You are still working together?
Uh, you mean who?
So the people who came to Granner in that residency we organized, along with you, there was a team of
Oh,
film.
yes.
You're,
Yeah,
you're,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm working with them. Yeah.
Oh, very good. So now coming to you, Marina. what is the kind of dance, the artistic practice for you, and the role of dance in that, and what was your journey in dance, and how do you come about in how do you go about your creative process, and then how did you what is the process like for you in creating this work?
So my background is it used to be a ballet. I started ballet since when I was 6 years old. And when I came to US, I had a first exposure to modern dance, and I felt something resonated, but I was really strong to keep going with ballet. But as I went to college for dance, I had more exposure to different kinds of dance, and I felt more connections. And I actually, about 10 years ago, I had more exposure to Buto dance. And that was strong impact to me, how the dance is urgent. Dance is not just for decorational things or something for entertainment, but something there's a necessity to express. There's need to express. It could be from daily life, but something is not only about romantic story and things like that. I believe in ballet as well. Through these romantic stories, they do have a necessity and urgency as well. But I was interested in different kinds, almost more of daily life necessity things. So I was more looking into more different type of dance that is more earthy or more daily life, like traditional dance. And I was interested in different way of expressing things. Dance is not only about movements, but it's also the environment, colors, and also music. So starting to be more exploring and looking at different dimensions of dance. And for this particular piece, I was very interested in creating for videos, dance through screen. And I feel screen blocks some kind of human presence that you feel when you go outside. You feel fresh air, or when you see someone, you feel certain energy that through video it blocks that. But at the same time, by blocking it, you see more detail about the person. Like when I become blind, maybe my eyesight become more sharp. I feel like that. So through screen, I might see everybody in things that I could not see. That's what I felt about communicating with my parents through Zoom. Sometimes I see them and I see more vulnerability. They look a little bit older, or they look a little bit different that I didn't observe that before. And for this work, I was interested in exploring that kind of something that it is only through film or through screen that I could explore. And also working with poems, that was language is something new to me, and that was difficult, but it was very in the end I felt like dance as well, the language as a movement of language.
So in the work, this slow contemplative quality, were you set out to create that from the word go, or um, or was it, or is that something as a narrative strategy that evolved when you started working? How did it come about?
I have filmed many different versions, but whenever something to work with poems together, I felt too much movement sometimes overpower the language. So I was trying to find the balance of the visual and the language together. And overall, I felt also working with the shadow. The shadow has sense of more calm and maybe to show the more clear shadow, maybe it naturally turned into a little bit slower tempo. Maybe.
I just received a message on WhatsApp from Joshua Silo, who was a choreographer presented a few weeks ago, and he was saying, "Congratulations on another wonderful evening. That was so really moving." So that was so sweet what he's saying. So that's I was quite taken by the meditative quality of the work. It brought the place, the experiences, and the memories of those places, and the kind of embodiment of those in a very unique way, where you employed the compositional strategies and the texture and the color and the light shade, all of that. So that was quite. Was it an influence from, or was it something Isak you prompted, or how, or is it a collective kind of strategy that evolved when guys were starting to work? How did it come about?
I think that it came about somewhat organically. He didn't talk about that so much, actually. I think we did talk about the nature of technically people need time to read and watch, and at the same, so if you're having a lot of things going on that are competing, that makes it a little bit too complicated. But I think for myself, there is an influence of the necessity of slowness, but I would not actually. I think the term slow is a little bit dangerous. It's kind of like the phenomenon of what is called a slow cinema, and influenced off of slow food movement, slow culture. It's a kind of critique of a fast food culture. So, which is very very valuable in many ways. Also with dance, I think there needs to be a strong critique of what is a fast food dance. That kind of mentality of so how to look at the nature of slow culture, and I think within Manipur and Surjit's tempo, naturally, even when we first connected in Bangalore, it was kind of often a joke people would say is like, we are the two slowest people. Always, when we're just even go to pick up a cup of tea or something like that, it's like somehow we have a slow tempo, but then maybe in some of our dance we could be moving quite fast too, but then it's more about dynamic, and it's more about perception. So in many ways the work is a dialogue with perception, and I don't actually see it necessarily as slow, and I think these terms of slow cinema, slow food, slow movement culture is really about creating tempo of doing things in the necessary speed. So it is really this approach to perception. How long does it take you to perceive a very small detail? And it may be just in 1 second, mini haiku. Haiku generally is quite so short. So the sense of reflection of time expanding and time compacting is a meditative process in itself. So we did want to create that process of listening and perceiving detail.
Yeah. Both in the no theater and also in the Manipuri dance, the slow, very slow kind of movement is quite pronounced actually. So it's interesting to see it in your work, also that aspect. So is there any, I mean, how is it for you now to come together with your work in this platform? All of you are there in this. It's so lovely for me to see you guys. So, maybe, do you wake up this morning like this? No, or you are probably much more late at night, no?
For myself? Well, I actually, it depends. So certain times I've
maybe Surjit, you have to.
depends. It's I would say I am more night kind of person. Surjit is probably more night person. Marina is a little more morning person. But I think the dynamic of each person lives all day long. So to perceive the night, perceive the day, these kind of things is what we share.
Is there any questions you have for each other? Or you're okay? You will do it in private. You're okay? Okay. I just want to say,
I can see the sun coming up behind Marina. Do you feel the sun coming up, Marina?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, beautiful. Wow, that's very nice. So I think that's we have so far, and it was so wonderful to see you, all of you, and to also have this very beautiful work and also this meaningful conversation. So thank you, Isak Immanuel, Surjit Nongmeikapom Bon, and Marina Fukushima for your wonderful works and equally engaging conversation. Today we also had oversubscribed masterclass by Gauri Sharma Tripathi on exploring dynamics of dance through Kathak from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. IST. This exciting masterclass will continue tomorrow also. We have another contemporary dance masterclass at 3 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. at IST time. Tomorrow, Sunday, by award-winning Swiss choreographer Teresa Rothenberg. This masterclass, I believe, is a must for dancers who aspire to enroll for professional education and training to build a career in dance. Please register if you have not already done so. At 7 p.m. IST tomorrow, Sunday, we are having a very special conversation with internationally acclaimed choreographers and teachers, Nicole Saylor, Ashley Lobo, and Teresa Rothenberg. This is promising to be an insightful discourse on dance education and artistic practice. If you are a professional dancer or an aspiring one or an enthusiast, do join to find out the training methods and creative processes of these wonderful artists. Thank you, Isak Immanuel, Surjit Nongmeikapom Bon, and Marina Fukushima for an exciting event. We are ever so grateful. I also would like to thank all of you who are continuing to join Spaarkk 2020 events from across the globe. Now it is time for me to say good evening, good afternoon, and good morning, depending on wherever you are. See you next time. Take care.